All right, prepping for that consultant social worker interview, huh? We came to the right place. We've got your career guides, sample interview questions, even some stuff on that RoleCatcher AI,
Sounds like you're well prepared.
and we're going to make sure you absolutely crush this interview.
It's a tough job to get, but so rewarding. Preparation is key, like you said.
Absolutely. Now, this career guide is fascinating. I mean, it really breaks down what a consultant social worker does. It's not just working directly with clients. It's shaping policy research, really making change happen on a bigger level.
Yeah, you're going to have that clinical experience, but also leadership and a passion for social justice.
Okay, let's dive into these interview questions. First one, a classic. How did you become interested in social work? Seems simple, but
It's deceptively tricky. Interviewers want to see genuine passion, not just, oh, I like to help people.
right. So think back. What really sparked that interest? A volunteer experience, an encounter that stuck with you, even a book.
Exactly. And be ready for a follow-up. They might ask, how did that experience shape your understanding of social work?
Oh, good point. They might even ask how it led you to consultant social work specifically, that leadership aspect.
Absolutely. They'll want to see that connection. Okay, next question, super relevant for this role. How do you approach working with clients who have different cultural backgrounds than yourself?
This is huge, GE.
It is. Cultural competence is so important. Understanding, respecting diverse views. But it's more than just saying you're culturally sensitive.
You have to really show it, right?
Hmm.
Maybe share an example of navigating a cross-cultural situation.
Mm-hmm.
Challenges, approach, what you learned.
Perfect. They might ask, tell me about a time you adjusted your communication style for a client from a different background, or how you make sure your services are culturally sensitive.
Yeah, good points. Okay, shifting gears a bit. Time management. One question here is, how do you manage your workload and prioritize tasks? Now, we all struggle with that, right?
Huh, absolutely. But in social work, especially at the consultant level, it's essential. They want to know you can handle multiple things, prioritize, and still deliver top-notch service.
So don't just list time management tools. Think about the unique challenges in this role. Juggling client needs, admin tasks, research, policy work. How do you decide what comes first? What strategies keep you organized?
Exactly. And they might throw in a scenario like deadline for a policy recommendation, but a client's in crisis. How do you handle that?
Oof, that's tough. Really tests your decision-making. Okay, this one needs some serious self-reflection. How do you maintain boundaries with clients and ensure you're not overstepping your role?
This is big for ethical practice. It shows you're professional, you care about client well-being.
Not just textbook definitions, but like think of a time when your boundaries were tested. Maybe a client got overly reliant, or you were asked to do something ethically iffy. How did you handle it?
Yeah, and they might ask, have you ever had to set a boundary that upset a client? How'd you deal with that while staying professional and supportive?
It's a tough balance. But you got to show that sensitivity and integrity. All right, another leadership-focused question. How do you handle conflicts or disagreements with colleagues or other professionals?
They want to see you can work in a team, even when there are differences. Good communication, active listening, finding solutions that work for everyone.
Okay, so think of a time you successfully resolved a conflict, even outside work. Steps you took, communication skills. How'd you apply that in a professional setting, especially as a consultant? Collaboration is key there.
Right, like you disagree with a colleague's approach to a case. How do you handle it while staying collaborative? Or conflict between team members with different views on how to best serve a client. What do you do?
Oh, those are good. Shows how you can be assertive but respectful, focused on solutions, and putting the client's needs first. Okay, last one for now. This one really highlights lifelong learning. How do you stay up to date with current trends and best practices in social work?
This field's always changing, right? Shows you're committed to staying informed, adapting your practice. Be specific. Journals, conferences, organizations, even podcasts.
Like ours, of course.
Exactly. And get ready for follow-ups, last research article that impacted your practice, or how do you ensure you're using evidence-based practices?
They might dig into specific areas you're interested in, especially related to the consultant role.
You got it.
Okay, we've covered a lot in this first part. All those crucial interview questions. We'll be back soon to look at broader career insights and how RoleCatcher can boost your interview game even more.
All right, welcome back. We're diving deeper into that consultant social worker interview prep. Moving on from those specific questions, let's look at some broader stuff you might encounter.
You know, one thing that jumped out at me from the career guide, it's the focus on self-care. Especially in this role, it can be so demanding. emotionally. It's no surprise they ask, how do you manage your own self-care and prevent burnout?
It's a smart question. They want someone self-aware, proactive about their well-being, someone with strategies to handle stress, keep those boundaries strong, stay resilient, in tough situations.
So think about it. What are your non-negotiables for self-care? What
Yeah.
keeps you going? Exercise, nature, friends, family, something totally different. Have those examples ready.
And be prepared for follow-ups, like how would you spot those early burnout signs in yourself? Or what steps would you take to deal with them before they become a big issue?
Yeah, catching those red flags early is huge.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into a question that's really at the core of social work. How do you handle ethical dilemmas? This one can feel heavy, but it's so important, especially as a consultant.
Absolutely. It shows you take ethics seriously. You can think critically, weigh perspectives, make those tough decisions, sticking to professional guidelines and your own moral compass.
Right. The best way to answer. Share a specific example. A real ethical dilemma you faced. Doesn't have to be from work even. Maybe something personal or from volunteering. Walk them through your process, what you considered the outcome.
Yep. They could ask, tell me about an ethical dilemma from your social work practice and how you resolved it. Or what resources do you turn to when facing an ethical challenge?
All excellent points. It's about showing you can handle those complex ethical issues in a thoughtful, informed way.
Okay, we've done a lot with specific questions. Let's zoom out. Talk big picture, your career as a consultant social worker.
Love it. One thing that's clear from the guide, there are many paths within this role. It's not one size fits all. Room for specialization, growth, based on what you're interested in, your skills.
And speaking of growth, they talk about continuous learning, professional development, specifically the licensed clinical social worker, that LCSW certification. Seems like that opens doors for advancement, leadership roles. Oh, absolutely. LCSW not only boosts your clinical expertise, but shows that dedication to excellence, ethical practice, which is so valued for a consultant social worker.
Now, while we're on the topic of standing out, showing your qualifications, got to mention RoleCatcher. That AI tool you sent info on, it's fascinating how it helps tailor resumes, even practice interview answers.
Really powerful resource. That AI-powered resume analysis is fantastic. It scans job descriptions, like for this consultant social worker role, finds missing skills, suggests improvements.
So say the job posting wants experience in policy advocacy, but your resume focuses on direct client work. RoleCatcher could flag that and suggest you highlight policy-related things from past roles, even if they weren't your main focus.
Exactly. It helps you present yourself in a way that directly matches what they're looking for. And get this, it also has interview practice. You record yourself answering common questions, like the ones we've been talking about, and get AI feedback.
Wow, so it's like a virtual mock interview with an expert
Yeah.
analyzing your delivery, content, even body language.
Precisely. It helps you see where to improve, whether it's confidence, giving specific examples, or even making sure your answers are clear and concise.
This is amazing. RoleCatcher could be a game changer for anyone prepping for interviews, especially in a competitive field like social work.
It's all about empowering you to show your best self, your unique skills and experience. And in a role like consultant social worker, where leadership, communication, advocacy are so important, those skills make all the difference.
Okay, second part down. Self-care, ethics, career stuff, AI. Now, in our last segment, we'll give you some final thoughts to help you really nail that interview. And we're back for the final part of our consultant social worker deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground, all those interview questions, broader career stuff, even AI. But before we wrap up,
We've got some final thoughts to share to help you approach this interview with confidence, really show who you are.
it's not just about impressing them. It's also about you figuring out if this role, this organization is the right fit.
Yeah, it's a two-way street. Ask questions, be curious, get a feel for the environment, the team.
Are they passionate about the things you care about? Do their values match yours? It's more than just a job.
Absolutely. Now, to really get you thinking, here's a question that goes beyond the specific interview prep.
This one gets to the heart of what it means to be a consultant social worker.
Think about it. What's the biggest challenge you see yourself facing in this role? When you think about social work at that systemic level, what keeps you up at night?
Is it those tough ethical dilemmas? Advocating for policy change when there's resistance, leading a team through tough times.
And even more importantly, how do your strengths, your experiences, prepare you to meet those challenges?
What skills, what perspectives, what values do you bring? The ones that will help you make a real impact.
This isn't about having all the answers, right? It's about showing you're self-aware, you can solve problems, you're committed to always learning and growing.
It's about showing them you're not just ready for the job, but passionate about making a difference.
For individuals, for families, for communities.
We've given you a lot to think about today, but we know you can do us.
Absolutely. You've got what it takes.
Go out there and rock that interview. We're rooting for you.